And good morning, everyone. It is December 31st, 2020. Welcome to Chat CANNA. It is the last little show of the year for our program that started in the middle of this year. And wow, we have gone across the nation. We have interviewed people from, working for companies in Israel and all across the United States. Some memorable shows. The instructor up at Botno just brought us such great information, and people from Ori and the NDSU programs that had so much to tell us about cannabis and hemp. Cannabis, of course, the overriding word that covers everything hemp and everything that's in the THC units of things. And so here we are today at the last day of the year, and it is time for us to say goodbye to this year that has affected us so much personally, family-wise, business-wise, and we thought we'd just take a minute this year and go back and do a little bit of reviewing as to what kind of happened in the world of hemp and how crazy that it got. And actually to do that, maybe to go back even a couple of years, because I always thought that the hemp program was, a little bit of the Wild Wild West was a phrase that we always used, but it was on a track and things were happening and things were just going with a lot of excitement. And the number one thing that you just had to be careful for with who you associated with or who you maybe shared money with or who you bought things from or sold things to, because you just needed to make sure that the money didn't transfer till you got your goods or vice versa. But all of a sudden, come March 15th of last year, the industry just stopped dead. I think everybody would agree that the industry just closed off. People that had goods in some step of processing, the processors stopped, the sales stopped, wholesale sales, the transfer of goods and services, everything just stopped dead. And we all kind of shrugged our shoulders and said, what? Minnesota Hemp Association meetings tried to go on for a couple of months virtually, and then they stopped. North Dakota Hemp Association stopped, as did all around the country. Everything just stopped. And those people that knew each other, were communicating and saying, what now, and how's it going for you? And there just was a big question mark everywhere. And for us, as we're talking, because our tester, for instance, comes from Israel, really a great company over there called Gemacert, cheap plug put in. But and Emilio, who we talked to over there, and my business partner talks to the other executives in the company. But everything just kind of stopped. And we are still now just starting to start that engine again, really slowly. And hopefully this transition that's going to happen here now, of course, starting on the international dateline in just a couple hours from now, is going to start that engine again, as somehow in people's minds, we have put some of this behind us. But at the same time, of course, the problem is still with us, and everybody is standing in line now or figuring out where they are to get their shot. My category, I'm in the second wave and in the third category down, but I might be moved up to the second category down because not only am I in an age category, but I have a couple of underlying conditions. So I will be there, and the minute it's available to me, I will be in line because I believe in the vaccine and want to get a shot. And then I'll be there 30 days later to get my second shot. And I hope that you will be too. But so tonight is an interesting night of celebration as we, it starts in just a few hours. I just got email from my friends in Germany. They will have their New Year's Eve at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, our time. And generally in Berlin, not counting the giant fireworks like you see behind me, but every person that's 7 years or older will have hand set off fireworks. And there's balconies everywhere. People live significantly in apartment buildings in Berlin, Germany, 5 stories, and now with elevators coming, 50 and years ago and after the war, even higher, and they're just shooting fireworks off of balconies on floor after floor after floor for about 20 minutes after Sylvester comes, which is midnight on New Year's Eve. And the town, if it's not windy, the town just has this smoke cloud that's just slowly moving with the wind as the fireworks die down. And it's a big celebration every night since, of course, the wall came down back in 1988, 89. Particularly, the Germans all had this big celebration. I don't know what it's going to be tonight. It's going to be an interesting time because they are very carefully social distancing over there. They are following, that's the one thing you can say about the German country, is it follows its rules very carefully as they are trying to mitigate the spread of what's happening here. So hemp-wise, what's going to happen in the next year? I hope, this would be my New Year's resolution for everyone, is that I hope that business will just start picking up again. People are buying the products in the store. We know that the large hemp companies, the large CBD companies, are manufacturing. We saw this fall that Martha Stewart and her friend are in hundreds, now going to be thousands of outlets. And so you're going to see the big companies start with advertising pushes because they believe that, of course, people are going to start buying products that have a national distribution because people are going to believe in those more. You're going to buy a Chevrolet more than you're going to buy a special custom car made around the street by your friend Dave. There's going to, of course, always be an underground that says, I would rather buy local, I would rather buy from a merchant that I know because they're in my state, or because they're in my region, or because I buy from them at the flea market or the carnival, not a carnival like a circus, but the gathering, the weekend fruit and vegetable market, an event like that. So there's always going to be those two levels of concept of people who buy. The people who listen to NPR have one kind of a concept of how they should be buying their products, and they'll probably buy their CBD and now coming CBG and CBN products on a more local and regional basis. And then there are the people, like I said, that they're going to buy it because, it's manufactured in their mind in a bigger factory, so it's got to be more pure and it's got to be better for you. And of course, there's absolutely no guarantee that one or the other is better for you because, they have bought CBD products off the shelf this year, and some of them contain no CBD at all. Some of them contained way too much CBD compared to the dosage. And we know there is a sweet spot of how much CBD and other things you should take. Some people are of the ilk that you want a full spectrum product from the entire hemp plant. We happen to be of that belief and faith here, that we don't know all of the things that are in this wonderful plant, but they do seem to work better taken all together. And of course, that's always been a philosophy in eating. You've been hearing that since, if you're in your 50s or your 60s, you've been hearing that since the first televised broadcasts of healthy eating have come out. Is that when you eat your vegetables, the broccoli, you eat, you don't eat the roots, but you eat the entire top of the broccoli plant. You eat the carrot, the peas and the beans and whatever you might be eating. Even the kale, which I got to tell you, if not eating kale shortens my life by 2 years, I'm willing to risk it. I do not like kale, but that's me personally. So we believe and are following the trail of the fact that the entire hemp plant has value. And our testing that we're doing and our products that we make has that, along with a whole lot of other people, by the way. This is not some single voice crying in the wilderness. So these things are going to come more to the front this year. There's going to be a lot more testing. There are a lot of university double-blind studies that are in process. The last time we looked, as we were trying to make contact with people that we could move some product to, there was something like 900 studies quietly going on in the United States. And some of these are going to be coming to fruition because a lot of those studies go on for a couple of years. So it's not like 2 weeks and we publish and here's our answer. Some of these things go on and they get tested and they go on and they get tested. And then finally they publish. But that's not the end of that because they're published in a peer-reviewed journal like the American Journal of Science, the American Journal of Medicine. There's many of them out there. And they're published there, inviting then another university or a place of repute to pick up that study, and then they do the same study, a completely unbiased, unassociated study to try and get the same results. And once you get those same results a couple, 3 times from completely unassociated, unbiased, unpaid by a drug company results, then you can say, and then the Food and Drug Administration won't send you a letter saying you are false advertising, then you can say this product will do this. And you can say that with verve and with absolute rigidity that it's true. That we aren't there yet. That's what we're going for. And I think you're going to see some of that coming in the year 2021. I remember when it became the year 2000. It was a tumultuous year that year. My significant other had died a few months before, and there was all the fear that all the computers were going to die at the moment that it kicked from 1999 to the year 2000. So tempers were high, tensions were high, and up here in North Dakota and Minnesota, on the night that it was changing over 20 years ago, exactly 21 years ago, exactly right now, it was 30 degrees below zero with a biting northwest wind. And it was quite a night. And there was all of the IT people. My team was working too, but I just decided I was going to have a night out. But of course, I really didn't have a night out because I was on my cell phone every 10 or 15 minutes. But it was quite a night as it became the year 2000. This year, for different reasons, it's going to be an interesting night as it becomes 2021. I wish you nothing but the best this year. Those of us that are in the hemp industry, let's give it our all. And let's work together. Let's join figurative arms here, as people have done for other events throughout history, and make it a good year for everyone. Help your neighbor if you can see they need help. Help your friends. Stay in touch. And let's look for 2021 to be the year of years. And as we go out this year, all I can wish you is a very, very happy new year.